So hello, welcome back guys on my channel. So today I'm going to talk about the Prydwen.gg tier list based on the WuWa 3.0 new update. Now in WuWa 3.0 update, they already released a new character which is the Lynae. Along with the new character, they also rerunning a two most of the powerful character. It is first one is the Karthetia and second one is a harvesting slot is the Chichiona, and it is actually a good patch. And they're also bringing so many new things like off-tune breaks and also the new mechanics for the F2 players to deal more damage, and the HP inflation will look like a less problematic for the everyone. Now, the tier list that I'm going to talk about is a Prydwen.gg, but in Prydwen.gg, they have some kind of a fair and good amount of history about the gacha games because they are already covering like more than 10 games, and most of the time they are correct about their takes, but most of the time they are not. But when it comes to Wuthering Waves, I guess their take is does not even valid to a certain point because it is a skill-based game. The more you knowledge about the game you have, I guess you can even clear with a 4-star option that you have in your account. Now, why you should be Prydwen.gg takes, because most of the time if you are one of those casual player who does not really have a good skills or also do not have a time to spend the learning the mechanics of this game, I guess you can even just pull a new character which is going to be the tailored towards the recent endgame, and you can clear it without any kind of problem. I guess that kind of player is really good for the Prydwen.gg, and you can follow this kind of a tier list. Now, if I talk about the other games when it comes to the Prydwen.gg, if I talk about the HSR, which is the Honkai Star Rail, I guess they are actually their takes on that particular game is actually valid because most of the time the Honkai Star Rail is a really power creep heavy game, and their meta shifts just happen so many frequently that you cannot even think about and building a team without properly. So without further ado, I'm going to see where this new character Lynae they are put into. Is she going to be a meta character or is she going to be one of those dog shit characters? Okay, let's see. Damn, in the tier 0 she is a apex tier character, and that's not the main thing. The main thing is that other characters, which is the Jingyuan and also the Lupa and also the Yuno and the Chichiona, go back down into 0.0 to 0.5. Well, I have no idea why it is happening, but it is actually really interesting to see that the how a character can lower down the other characters which were there before this tier list, which is tier 0. And it is not even a one page for the Jingyuan because people were thinking the Jingyuan can be the most perfect DPS, not actually DPS, sub DPS for every team. He's the universal one. But in that case, as we can see that this one character not even back down the Jingyuan, but it also back down the Chichiona, Yuno, and also the Lupa, who is also a core team for the fire team because she is mostly just buff the whole fire team damages. That's actually insane. Well, let's see what the Prydwen takes about this character. I'm going to talk about the review. So first, let's see the pros. In first point, the best generous hybrid buffer in the game with tons of universal buff to a single character while dealing a solid amount of personal damage. Well, yes, she is actually one of those characters who is really like a rational towards your main DPS on your team, and she most of the time she is not even going to be played on the field. Most of the time she is just going to be the help to generate the intro buff for your shine through your main character, which is the main original damage dealer on your team. And the second point is that doesn't need her signature weapon to perform very F2A friendly. Well, that's a solid point. And the third one is a function is in almost all teams in the game is the best buffer for a good chunk of them, pushing liberation damage dealers way up into the meta as well as the old DPS to an extent, which is also a great thing because if I talk about the Honkai Star Rail, they are also going through a trend like they are going to release a new character which can bring back the old team. Just like if I give you an example, Hyceles is a new dot character which also bring back the 2 years old dot characters into the recent meta. Now people can even play their old game, which is a bench team with a perfect mechanics. Okay, well, now let's talk about the cons. The cons is there. First point is next to no room, swap cancel, very intro dependent, and major abilities have long cooldowns, log into one rotation with near zero flexibility. Well, if it is a cons, then I guess there is a pros. Pros is that if her buff's duration is very long, I guess this is not even a really much of a problem. That's the main thing. Now, second problem is the possibility to get interrupted mid-air before S1, particularly during her visual impact plunging attack, which represent a lot of her damage. Yes, she does have a problem according to these cons, like the Camellia, because Camellia on her S1, without her S1, when she just goes to her bloom damage or like a flower, like a plunge damage, most of the time she gets interrupt and the damage does not have any kind of impact to the enemy, which really takes a lots of time to just generate those flower bloom types of damage thing. Now I'm not going to talk about the whole review thing because there is a one thing which is the who does Lynae buff and how, which is the main and you can say the TLDR of this review of that particular character. So the first point is with her outro buff, 15% all-type damage amplification and 25% liberation damage amplification to the character via outro. Damn, that's a huge damage, and it is not even a restricted one, it is all-type damage. Before than that, I'm going to sorry for you guys because in my 3.0 which one character you should pull, in there I told them from the other, like how should I put it, from the other website I just learned to know that she's only buff the Spectro character, but after the release I think she just buff all the types of character. I guess this why they are just making her to the tier 0 and the other characters are backing down, because those other characters are totally based on their just restricted team members, not the overall best DPS or best buffers for your own, for that particular DPS. So second point is with her ultimate, which is a 25% party-wide all-type damage bonus. Damn, that's an almost 24 plus 15 plus 39%. Okay, upon casting visual impact 14 points to tune break boost party-wide. This boost tune break damage related damage. Damn, that's the power keep things, because tune mechanic damage is totally a new thing when enemy is in a break state. Most of the time all the damage, basic attack and all other things is skill to the ultimate, all the damage will have a huge buff because he's in a vulnerable stage in that point. But they're releasing a tune mechanics where you can give like a special animation to the enemy and also deal a particular damage, but that damage can be also altered by the damage of that particular character have, if that particular character have, just like this character Lynae, and Lynae is a tune buffer also. Damn, that's a power kick point. Fourth one, with her eco set, a total 30% attack and 10% all-type damage bonus to via outro. Oh my god, man. That's already a 49% all-type damage bonus without her signature weapon, because the last point is with her signature weapon, it's a 24% party-wide damage buff. Can you imagine it? Because if you just somehow able to get her signature weapon, it could be like 73% all-type damage bonus. Oh my god, man, she's actually just breaking the whole meta. And also the eco, which is a F2P things, they will give you a 30% attack buff. I don't know how many times and what is the duration of the 30% attack, but it is actually pretty much broken thing. So as I can say about that, pull her. Without her, I guess you are just like a beating yourself to clear the new end game with your old characters. That's no brainer. So let's see. Brent is also going down. I have no idea why the fusion team is even that relevant towards this new meta, because Changli was just nothing but her like a appearance, because everyone loves her chugs and nothing more have beside her chugs in her kit. And Chisa, damn, the main thing about this, that the way they shows like in their review that she does not require her signature weapon to perform. Yes, that's a good thing, but 24% buff for a signature weapon, I guess that's a predatory practice. Now you are going to point me out, hey man, Uday was just giving you a guaranteed weapon. Yes, I know that they are giving you a guaranteed weapon, but that weapon also required a pulse, and if you are one of those unlucky guy, it could require like a 60 to 69 pulse, which can also you can guarantee to, not actually guarantee to a PT character, which could be standard and also could be the limited one. So I guess this is not an F2 friendly characters. You have to pull for the signature, but otherwise 49% all-type damage bonus with the 30% attack, it could be a pretty much good thing for your old team member. And now these two characters are on the watch list, and also Camilla. Damn, I have a really high hopes for the Chisa, because players were really crazy when before Chisa release, when she was debuted on a character phase, and the thing is she doesn't even have a good characters on her, not actually good characters, good teammates to bring her full potential to the game. So I guess we have to wait it. And besides than that, she also required her signature weapon to unlock her actual kit. Okay, you have to mind it, actual kit. That's how they design her main signature weapon. What I'm trying to say is the Udar was totally basically going to the PGR route. Well, they are both are same company, because PGR, when the first generation character was over, every second generation character required their main signature weapon, and third generation character, which is right now currently running, they are also required their own signature weapon. And Phoebe, another character, also backing down, and I have no idea. Damn, Rochia also backing down a lot of it. Now, before ending the video, I'm going to talk about the Lynae, and Lynae does require have some kind of a good things, because the buff she provides without her signature weapon, which is 49%, is actually diabolical things. Besides than that, she's not even good at Whimpering West, which is also considered as a AoE type of content. Okay, as you can see, that is a Frolova. She's like a top tier character, but when she was released, people were thinking that she's not even that good because she requires a signature weapon. Yes, that's a good thing, because without her signature weapon, she also locked behind her actual kit. Well, that's what they're was doing after the anniversary patch. Well, all I can say about that, she also good in Whimpering West. The way she buffs the whole teammate, I guess people need to play a bit more. I guess the review will be also changed for the Whimpering West too. So let's see the change log, why they are going to have this character in a watch list. For the Camellia, where is Camellia? For Camellia, they think that as the damage number required to kill an enemy increase with every cycle, Camellia potential to score highly dwindles a bit, which makes her a good meta contender but a dominant presence like she used to be. However, her drop has caused a lot other DPS drop down as well. Well, for Camellia, I am using her, still using her on the Tower of Adversity, because I think I have my Camellia is a S2. You already know that how much S2 Camellia is totally broken. Not actually broken, but on based on her like only solo DPS, she's actually really cool because the damage just skyrocket after S2. So I'm just totally shocked because one character changed the whole meta, and this character totally backed down to zero point 0.5. Well, it is tend to happen because this is at the end of the day, this is a gacha game. Every new characters, every new supporters will have their own shining moment, and the other characters will have their back moment. But I never thought that this character will go back down with that much quickly, because he release didn't even make it to a single patch. I guess it is what it is. That's all for the gacha game for you. So that's all for this video. I hope you like it. If you like, leave a like, and also if you think have any kind of comment, please drop a comment box. I will reply every comment. And also see you on the next video. Peace.